Aloha from Bling Your Band. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to apply vinyl decals to a cranial band. You will receive your design on one page like this. There is transfer tape on the front, and the first step is to cut apart each element from the page. I didn't show it, but your package contained a small square of sandpaper. Please take that sandpaper and rough up all the surfaces of the band. I used to just recommend that you wash the band with rubbing alcohol before applying the decals. But every once in a while, a band would have a slick coating and the decals would not stick. I found that sanding with fine sandpaper always fixed the problem, so I recommend you just take a minute to sand. You are not trying to remove plastic, just roughen the surface. In parts of the video, you may notice my hands moving a little bit quicker than you would expect. I have sped up some of the boring details so that you see the process, but we don't need to see the exact details. In this video, you will first see me apply the glasses, but if this is your first time, I recommend that you start with a few smaller decals first for some practice. The first step in this process is to cut around the decal as close as you can. Any excess paper around the decal just makes it harder to get the decal to flex. The glasses are a large decal that is harder to get to lay flat than smaller designs. I have a web page that shows this process in more detail. See the link in the video or below for how to apply large decals or glasses and goggles and get them to lay flat. I have done these many times, and sometimes even I feel I could have done better. In all of our designs with goggles and glasses, you should be able to get 2 more copies for just a little bit more money. Then you can practice a little if you are after perfection. With large decals, tack them down in the center, and then slowly work to the edges. Some people ask if the squeegee is really needed. Yes, you can use a credit card instead, but it is not the same. I find that credit cards are very hard and they have a sharp edge. They want to dig in instead of sliding. With small decals, you can probably just use your fingers. But with anything big enough to not want to go flat, it is going to need some pressure, and you need something like a squeegee or a credit card for that, but the squeegee wants to slide and the credit card wants to dig in. For $2, I feel like it's a good investment for any design that has larger elements. As I work towards the edge of the glasses, anything that looks like a crease needs pushed down a little at a time. I'm not trying to get rid of each crease and then move to the next one. I'm just pushing a little on this one, moving around to the next one, moving around to the next one. I want to get them all down at about the same time. I don't mind if the transfer tape develops a crease, I just don't want to see a crease in the vinyl. Now that the glasses are down flat, I am peeling up the transfer tape to see the final result. This pair of glasses has a small metal wire across the front. In the final application of it, I pulled it up a bit and then stuck it down straight. Some folks ask, where does each element go? Well, that is up to you, but my general rule is figure out where the bigger things will go and reserve those spaces. Then place smaller things around that. Don't forget to send me high-resolution pictures of your work so I can show it off. This flyboy element is large, but applying it won't be too hard if I just focus on getting the vinyl down flat and let any creases build up in the transfer tape. Now I am going to work on the name. In this design, the name is inside a helicopter, which makes the overall size fairly large. I mostly got it all down in one go, but there'd be no shame in cutting the name free, applying that, and then adding the helicopter embellishment around it. As you see, because of the curvature of the band, I sliced the rotor blade and the tail blade free and then stuck them down after the name. Now let's apply some of the smaller details. Decal sets usually have more elements than can be used at one time. So I chose the elements I liked best and would look good together. I am going to speed up the video as I apply many of the smaller elements. I would keep the unused decals. You might use them in a picture scrapbook since they will match the theme of the helmet, or save them in case a design is damaged. Speaking of damage, we highly recommend you protect the decals with a protective hard shell like Mod Podge. The decals must be soft so they can mold to the curvature of the band, and we have printed on them. If your child can move his or her head, bedding and upholstery act as a sandpaper on the decals. It can sand the thin layer of ink, giving the appearance that the decals have faded. And it can break thin parts of the design off or lift the edges. A sealer like Mod Podge prevents all this damage by acting as a hard shell. We recommend about 5 thin coats. We recommend thin coats so the Mod Podge does not streak as you apply it. The Mod Podge has been applied thick enough that when you run your fingernails over the edges of the decals, your nails slide over the edges and do not catch on them. We have found that a thin coat of Mod Podge dries to the touch in about 5 minutes. 5 coats can be more than you have time for the first day if your child is wearing the helmet 23 hours a day. If you can get 2 coats on the first day, the rest can wait till tomorrow. Mod Podge does not want to be soaked in water, and see the video or the links below for recommendations from other parents on how to clean the band and remove any smells. This is one sweet looking band, and thank you for taking the time to watch. Our goal is to take the negative of a helmet and turn it into a source of pride. We want you to have an amazing looking helmet. Please watch our other demonstration videos. If you have questions not covered by this video, please email us at info@blingyourband.com.